Hi folks, I want to talk to you about buttercup squash and basically give you a little breakdown on when they're ready for the picking. They're not really ready for the picking based on size. You can see this one here. This one here is ready for the picking. It's not all that large, but it's not going to get any bigger. Now I'm going to show you one that's still in growth. You can see the color of it. It's kind of a dark, dull green. This one here is about, I'd say about 5 inches in diameter, going across this way. So I'm going to bring it to one that's still in growth. Let me just find one here. Okay, here we go. There's a beautiful example. You can see this one here. This one's ready for the picking also, and it's quite small. It's only maybe 3.5 inches across. And then you have this one here. You can see the color. It's a light green, and it really has a shine to it. That one there is still in growth, so it's going to get larger. And this one over here, it's not going to get larger. That's at its full development, ready for the picking. And you can see another one back in there. That one's also ready for the picking. Now, how I pick them, I'm just going to give you a showing. You kind of have to be careful of where it's coming up from. But we're at the end of the season, and the majority of these, in my case, are just about finished. This one here is the furthest away from the root base. So for me, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut and leave all kinds of growth to it without harming any squash that's ahead of it. Because by doing so, if I have squash ahead of it that's growing, I basically just killed the plant and it's not going to continue growing. So that's how I remove mine. I usually wait for a while before I harvest them, just so I'm able to do this way. In my opinion, in my experience, by leaving this extra growth and just other than just the stem, it has a lot more life to pull away from the portion of the plant, basically, which is all this piece. Which, in my opinion, makes the squash last longer in storage time. Now, these type of squash, they last a long time. They're really, really hardy, and pretty much get the winter time out of them if the conditions are right. So now that other one is going to be left alone because it's still in development, and it is ahead of the one I just harvested. So this one here is still attached to the root system. Now, being that I harvested the one you see me just cut was after this one here is going to have a better chance and a better opportunity to even get bigger. So that's how it works. You can see this little one here. Well, it didn't quite make it. It's not going to do any more growing. It's not going to work out, this one. There's all kinds of other flowers, which is going to try and tell the plant to produce more squash. But we're at the end of the season here, and there's just no time for any kind of production of squash. They'll start off with little balls, but they're never going to come to any kind of finish point. Now, if they get to a decent size, and they happen to be still in growth, and frost comes, like it has come, you can see some damage. You can see that black, that's frost damage. And that's went through 2 frosts so far. You can see some more up here. And it's still thriving pretty good. But one more really, really good frost, and it's probably going to kill the rest of the plant. So the squash that are not in full development, as this green one here, so for an example, if a heavy frost will come, and this one here is at that state, still edible. Just eat these ones first. Just because it hasn't come to its full development stage doesn't mean you cannot eat it. It's still very edible and very tasty. But until that moment comes where the heavy frost comes, I'm just going to leave it keep growing and hope that we don't get a frost and they can actually get much larger in size and become more hardier. This one here is not going to uphold itself very long in storage, so this one here will be the one that gets ate first. Well, let's just take another little walk, browse through here, and there's another one down there. That one's ready for the harvest. There's quite a few in here. I won't show them all to you. Just wanted to give you a little idea of how you can harvest them and when they're harvestable. And don't let size fool you, because this one here is not very big compared to how big they can get, but very tasty and very edible and very long-term storage these are. And do yourself a favor, when you do cut them open, scoop out the seeds and separate the seeds from the rest of the stuff and put them on a paper plate or a paper towel and let them dry up, and you'll have seeds for next season to replant. Well, thank you for watching, folks. Subscribe if you have not, and thank you very much for those that have